Industries to invest in before 2030. This is going to be a good one. This is just my opinion, of course, but you know, with what I've been seeing in the markets, what I've been researching in the stocks I'm in, the people I talk to, I just compiled a list of industries I believe will do well in 2030 and beyond. Right? Not a financial advisor. You know, this is pure entertainment education only, but these are my thoughts, and hopefully you can learn something from it. All right. And so these are the industries I have, you know, artificial intelligence, semiconductors. We have Internet of Things, infrastructure. We have financial technology. We have water, land ownership, utility, beverage, environmentally friendly, ESG, energy, health, wellness, fitness, and, you know, technology, industrials, materials, all right, and like the critical materials in it. So let me talk about some names, I guess, that we have. So we have NVIDIA. They're definitely artificial intelligence semiconductors. They're AI GPUs, data center leadership. We have AMD, advanced micro devices, CPUs, GPUs, expanding AI accelerators. Intel, INTC, CPUs, ramping up foundry networking via U.S. investments. TSMC, world's largest contract chip fabricator. AVGO, Broadcom, networking, AI, high margin software. We have Qualcomm, QCOM, 5G, edge, AI mobile, auto semiconductors. Texas Instruments, analog, sensor chips, industrial demand. ASML, ASML Holdings, EUV lithography, lithography machines. And so those are some of the artificial intelligence and semiconductor stocks to look out for. A lot of them are doing well right now. NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA is the largest stock in the world right now, the first $1 trillion top per market cap. Then we have some Internet of Things. I did the first top two because there's a lot of stocks, and this is the top most ones that people are really interested in. So IoT, Samsara, industrial fleet, IoT platforms and sensors. KORE, Core Wireless, Global Internet of Things Connectivity Solutions. IMVE, Identive, sensors, asset security tracking. NODDY, Nordic Semiconductor, lower power wireless chips for Internet of Things devices. SYNA, Synaptics, touch sensor edge AI chips for small devices, smart devices. We have Intel again. Google, Alphabet, GOOGL, Nest, Android, Internet of Things, cloud infrastructure. We have Apple, smart home, HomeKit, wearables and voice assistants. Then we have Microsoft, Azure, Internet of Things platform. Then they have software, business software and such. So those are the top two ones that a lot of people are interested in. It's the hot new wave, AI, semiconductors, Internet of Things. That's the new frontier for where the world's going. You know, a lot of the physical world has been laid out already, so now start to move. But with that said, there's a lot of other industries as well that are going to do well, do really well moving forward. And so there's going to be a lot of bridge gaps as well. And one of the industries I'm really invested in and I'm really excited for is kind of the bridge gap of the tangibility, intangibility monetarily, and that's financial technology. You have companies like SoFi, you have companies like Robinhood, PayPal, Usio, Chime, Square, and when I look at the financial technology industry, especially in payments, which I'm really interested in payments, the total addressable market in payments is massive. Obviously, everybody uses money in the world. essentially everybody uses money for goods, services, trading, the whole nine. Doesn't matter if it's the US currency or another currency, it's money's money, right? And so when you look at the Internet of Things, cryptocurrency, and how we interact with that financially, that's where financial technology comes into play. That's where payments come into play. So I made a huge bet on SoFi. I have a notable position in Usio, which is a payment company. And I'm always monitoring PayPal, because when you look at the payment industry, and PayPal is very undervalued to what they're doing, and they're performing well as a company. But I believe Wall Street and society are undervaluing it. They're underplaying it because of the infrastructure that still needs to be placed. It is a little bit slower of growth, even though I do feel like it can pick up growth over time. And it's still a black box, you know. You don't know when that true shift will happen. That's why you see SoFi's Galileo technology branch of their business kind of underperforming and being undervalued. Not because they're not growing and performing well. It's just it's not there yet. It takes a year to have revenue realized on Galileo's revenue, on SoFi's revenue, right? It also takes a year to see if a client leaves. So it's very slow processing. And please make sure, if you haven't watched my video in the past on, you know, the payments industry is the new railroad industry, I break it down on why on why I believe that industry is undervalued. You know, right now SoFi is becoming more fair value, not because of the payments industry, it's because their loan business platform. So that's an industry I'm definitely investing a lot in now and will be continuing in the future. Water is another big one. Obviously I'm invested in a water beverage brand and distribution company, LTNC Labor Smart Inc. We have hydrogen water that we see growth in moving forward. I was also invested in a water land ownership company and a utility company as well, CDZI, Cadiz Inc., for over a year. And I've made some money off that company. But again, it's one of those slow movers where it's always on top of mind. Maybe I get back into it. But now's not the time for me. I just have other stocks I'm invested in with my resources. But Cadiz, CDZI, that's the stock ticker symbol, Cadiz Inc. That's one you need to look at if you're looking to invest in water before 2030. And then you have environmentally friendly ESG energy companies. I'm invested in that as well. Camber Energy Inc., CEIN, is my largest investment in my portfolio. They were an oil company before James Doris started to switch it over into carbon capture, ozone waste management, right? Handling waste with ozone. We have broken line detection technology with electric lines being cut off before they hit the ground, so we can prevent wildfires and such. So CEIN, Camber Energy Inc., that's an OTC company. That's another one I'm heavily invested in. I've been invested in that for the last 3-4 years. Big bet on that. Then we have health, wellness, fitness. So obviously that can go back to consumables like waters, functional beverages. You can see companies with equipment, workout facilities, supplements. I guess you can put in pharmaceuticals. So you could look at HIMS with that. I don't really do a whole lot within this space investment wise outside of, the beverage brand I'm invested in, but it's another big one I think people need to look out for moving forward. And then rounding that off, technology, industrials, materials. And so what I have is, critical materials in the technology making process. So the collective term for metals and minerals essential for all kinds of advanced technology and clean energy, are vital to the growth of artificial intelligence, AI, which has become pervasive in everyday life. AI hardware relies on familiar elements like aluminum, silicon, and copper, and unfamiliar elements like gallium, germanium, palladium, and neodymium to support the computational power, data transmission, and cooling systems required to process vast amounts of data at high speeds. And so that's what to look out for too. And I think we have to add in steel as well. That's a material. I don't have EVs on here. I know people love EVs. You know, they like their Teslas. You know, they like, you know, all these other EVs. You know, all, and obviously the legacy car makers are shifting to full EV lines now as well. You know, that's just not my investment. I think it's a little too capital intensive. I think it's still a huge black box on how that's going to work. Infrastructure is not really in place. Electrical wise, we still have a huge wildfire issue due to electrical fires and the grid capabilities. We're just so far behind that people are going to invest in it, and there's going to be a lot of money made in it. Obviously, there's been millionaires made off Tesla, Elon Musk. Just not something I would consider investing in. You do you though, right? That's just me. I don't think I'll ever invest in Tesla. Maybe if they turn to an energy company and spin off the EV company, maybe, because I know they have that capability as well. And so just for some gematria, we have crude oil needed for ESG transition, 333 English ordinal and 153 in reduction. And what that really means is it's like big oil is not going anywhere. You know, big oil is going to be the ones funding the transition into green and clean energy. And that's what people have to realize. They have the money, they have the infrastructure, they have the technology to do so. And, you know, oil consumption is, after COVID, it's back on normal growth rates, right? It's not, you know, growing at anything substantial than it was before, but it hasn't been kicked off track at all for consumption and demand. And big oil knows that. And big oil isn't going to just cut off their cash cow just because. But how does that come into play, right? And so carbon capture comes into play where they're still using oil, carbon still getting emitted, but these carbon capture systems are now producing a new resource, a new commodity that they could utilize for different things and hopefully cut down on emissions over time. So we need big oil for this transition, and we're nowhere close to the transition being complete. I mean, we're still really in the early innings, in my opinion. My opinion, of course. Moving forward, Internet of Things industry and semiconductor IoT industry, they both equal 333 English ordinal and 315 reverse ordinal. So you see the connection there. They're very important. They're very energetic, and they're here to stay. Is very pervasive. Internet of Things industry and the semiconductor industry, GPUs, AI, it's just a part of life now. All right. So that's why you see it in the gematria. Then we have fitness stocks to perform in 2030, and the human race ages. Healthcare is critical equals 333 in ordinal. They both do. And so that's where you see the health, wellness, fitness, healthcare, anything health conscious oriented. That's very important these days. So fitness stocks to perform in 2030, 333 English ordinal. The human race ages. Healthcare is critical, 333 ordinal as well. You know, I'm not big on healthcare stocks for real. I mean, obviously I have health insurance and stuff. You have United Health, you have Oscar, and you have all the Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, which is a really old school one. So I think those ones still have a lot to growth to come. People, while the humans are aging, but they're living longer. And obviously, if they live longer, they'll still have health declines along the way. But health is something that everyone is focused on all levels now. So healthcare might be for the older generation, but maintenance, fitness, and wellness is for the middle aged into the younger as well. So there's opportunity across the board in all these industries. Okay. And so look, if you have any other industries I'm missing, make sure to drop that into the comment section. Let me know. If you want to join my Gematria Stocks newsletter on Patreon, make sure you go to the description or the comment section below. There's a link there to help support Data Productions Media in the channel. We've been doing a lot of great things in the stock market. We've been making money, of course, if you've been following this channel. So think about supporting my work and research going forward.